In many ways, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is a major upgrade over its predecessor. The game's a canon story set in imprisoning war from Tears of the Kingdom rather than a what-if tale. The added features like sync strikes, sonar devices and fuse attacks add serious depth to core Warriors formula, and with things like charming characters, an amazing final boss, and a story that will give you chills, the title is generally better than Age of Calamity in many ways. But despite this, there are some places where Age of Imprisonment falls short. Some areas where Age of Calamity is still the better game even after all these years. So today we're going to look at them. Starting with the most obvious one of the lot, that being the character variety, since well, the characters were a lot more unique in Age of Calamity. And there are two reasons for that: their unique mechanics and movesets, plus their designs and personality. With the unique character mechanics being the big one. Put simply, no two Age of Calamity characters were quite the same. Impa had those ninja techniques which could generate clones for extra attack power. Link, Zelda and King Rome had multiple movesets which you could switch between either on the fly or weapons or costumes. Plus, there are all kinds of crazy additions that threw the Warriors format for a loop. Master Koga, Maz Kosia, Riju, the Great Fairies, all these were bizarre choices for a Warriors game with lots of moves and gameplay mechanics very unlike anything else seen before or since. Age of Imprisonment on the other hand goes a much more conservative approach. Okay, a few characters had unique gimmicks like Minoru and Calamo, and hey, the Knight construct had multiple movesets like Link himself did, but for the most part it was a standard setup: sword fighter, spear fighter, archer, etc. Also with a gimmick shared between multiple members of the same species. And we're kind of torn how well this works. On the one hand, it does mean we never end up ignoring a character since everyone's the least viable for us. Typhon, Bratton and Pinnick are hardly our go-to choices, but we'll give them a shot if the side quest call for it or we get bored. On the other hand, Riju, the Great Fairies and Maz Kosia never had that luxury and mostly sat on the bench for the whole game. At the same time though, you can't help but think the level of safeness is a bit of a missed opportunity. Many characters did feel awkward in Age of Calamity, but they also felt unique too, and gave us a sense of wonder when we unlocked someone and realised how quirky their moveset was. Actually playing as Riju or Maz Kosia was hardly the best thing in the world, but unlocking them and realising how they played was a fun time. So we'll probably take a more mixed roster over a more consistent one just for creativity's sake. Similarly, it's hard to deny the roster wasn't more interesting in Age of Calamity, since well, everyone was a familiar face from Breath of the Wild and someone we've grown attached to in that game. They all had memorable names and identities, stood out in terms of character design, and had the personality we quickly grew attached to. Age of Imprisonment's roster? Yeah, about half are memorable characters, or made such in this game, and the other half are basically background NPCs with a name and moveset. Need more proof? Well, how much of a roster do you actually remember in Age of Imprisonment? How many names could you fill in for a quiz? For us, it's about half the characters. Meanwhile, we could fit in the whole roster for Age of Calamity. Yeah, quite the difference, isn't it? But the characters we got weren't the only thing Age of Calamity did better, it's the ones we should have got but didn't. Like say, the villains. Since Ganondorf, Twin Rover and the Forbidden Construct aren't playable at all, and neither are any other antagonists. It's a huge missed opportunity to be honest, and it's one that didn't need to be missed. After all, do you know Age of Calamity let you unlock Calamity Ganon? They had him as a post-game fighter as a non-canonical extra after main story. So we're kind of confused that Age of Imprisonment didn't just do the same thing here. Had the main story stick to canon, then have the post-game and bonus challenge levels be what-if challenges, perspective flips, etc. It's not perfect Age of Calamity because hey, our story isn't playable, but it's a damn lot better than Age of Imprisonment just because a post-game was willing to screw around with canon for a better experience. Which brings us to our next point. Age of Calamity's side content and post-game is just much better than the one in Age of Imprisonment, with the big reason being Age of Calamity took risks. For example, the missions that flipped the script and had you try to take down the heroes as Koga, Suga and Calamity Ganon, missions where you fall the blights at the same time, missions where you avoid being hit, and all this weird wacky stuff like the Gerudo Fire contest. There's even a super hard final mission where all the main antagonists show up, everyone has to stop them, take over Fort Hateno. These are a real blast and kept things exciting even after the main campaign was done. Age of Imprisonment doesn't have this. You fight the players one at a time in a side challenge, and that's basically it for the crazy stuff. There's no super hard finale, no uber difficult side challenges, and no real gimmick levels so to speak of. It's just more of the same, and that's it. There's also a lack of unlockable content in Age of Imprisonment too. You get certain characters from side missions, there's a second ending for 100% completion, and occasionally get a new weapon or ability upgrade, but that's it. There are no real hidden characters, no extra costumes, nothing to make you change up the game in any real way. On the other hand, Age of Calamity had more to offer. You had Ganon as a post-game character with his own skills and missions, you had Terako as a post-game character you unlock by killing a bunch of missions, interesting optional characters Maz Kosia and the Great Fairies locked behind a string of side challenges rather than just one. You even had armour and clothing to unlock here too, including an outfit for the original Hyrule Warriors game for 100% completion. There was a ton of stuff to obtain there and it kept the experience exciting from start to finish. Which kind of brings us to another question. Why is there no unlockable clothing in Age of Imprisonment? Yeah, we do sorta get it. Link being the main character in Age of Calamity, many of his armour models from Breath of the Wild could be recycled here. Tears of the Kingdom's characters never had any alter outfits in Tears of the Kingdom, so they'd have to create them for this game in particular. But it still would have been nice if they went the extra mile, if they gave everyone at least a few different outfits to choose from. You could give the main warriors outfits based on archaic and Hylian gear, have Zelda wear a few outfits from games Age of Calamity, and have each other species unlock 3 or 4 clothing sets, especially for their group too. You'd add another type of unlockable in the game that's lacking in them, and allow players a bit more freedom to customise their characters. Finally, we get to a big one, something Age of Imprisonment really kind of dropped the ball on. That being the locations you actually fight through. They're nowhere near varied enough. Okay, there is technically a bit of variety. The intro's on the Great Plateau, that's a nice intro to the game, plus there are levels set in places like Gerudo Desert, Death Mountain, or the Lost Woods, but there's not a lot of variety in these locations. They all feel the same, that's about it. And many more interesting ones are just absent entirely. We never really explore the Great Plateau, or fight through Rora's version of Hyrule Castle, nor do we see any of the dungeons from Tears of the Kingdom. There's a Stormwind Arc in a boss battle, and a few cutscenes, and that's it. The Fire Temple, Water Temple, Lightning Temple and Spirit Temple are just missing entirely. What's more, the sky and depths are somehow even more wasted than in Tears of the Kingdom. We don't see any unique areas from the latter, like the fiery hellscape under Death Mountain, the grove under Lost Woods, or the graveyard under Gerudo Desert. We don't see any labyrinths, mines or Zonar era areas found in the wild games in any form, and in the sky in particular, we don't even get to explore places like the Zonai Forge or Thunderhead Isles. It's just one generic type of sky island, and that's about it. Heck, we don't even get to enter any buildings, it's just mostly battlefields outside in the ruined landscape, and that's about it. It's a real missed opportunity, one that makes us miss locations like the Yi Clan hideout, Kara Citadel, and Hyrule Castle from the previous game. Either way, those are the things Age of Calamity does better than Age of Imprisonment. It's not the majority of the game, with stuff like better story, performance and mechanics, generally elevating the later game over its predecessor, but still disappointed to see, nonetheless, and still leaves some room for Age of Calamity to remain relevant in 2025. Still, what do you think? What aspects of Age of Calamity were better than Age of Imprisonment, and vice versa? Leave your thoughts in the comments below on social media or on our Discord server today.